I bet you've heard of Charvette guitars, everybody has, but I bet you haven't heard of Charvette, and we're going to fix that for you today, right here on GearGasms. Hi kids, welcome to GearGasms. I'm your host Alan Barnes. Today we're going to be taking a trip back in time to 1989 when the Charvette first hit the market. Charvette was an offshoot of Charvel. They were only around from 1989 until 1991. They can't be considered a success by any stretch of the imagination. There are a multitude of reasons why this guitar really never took off, and we'll go through some of those today. But first, I'll give you a little background. In 1990, I'd been playing an SG since like 1983, a Gibson SG. They weren't really cool then. Nobody cool was playing them. So I decided to take my Gibson SG. I took it to Alpha Music in Virginia Beach, and I traded it in on this. I gave them my SG and $250 for this guitar, which kind of means at max I got $250 for the SG. Probably more like $150. Absolute worst guitar deal ever. Now we're going to rock this beast out in just a minute, but first the data. Now, a couple of things that make this different. Plywood body. It's got a two-piece maple neck, Indian rosewood fretboard, sort of medium frets. But the tremolo on this bad boy is a Jackson branded tremolo, licensed by Floyd Rose. That's not strange. That's not unusual. You see that a lot. But what's different about this particular series, and it's pretty unique, I think, just to the Charvettes, is if you look at the end of the headstock here, those aren't Allen screws that lock the nut down. Those are actually flathead screwdriver type screws. Now, if you can see at the end of that, instead of having the little dials on top of the bridge for the fine tuners, these have barrels that come out of the end of the bridge this away. I think this particular part of the bridge is a superior design. I don't know why you don't see more of it. I don't know why they went away from that. As far as the rest of it goes, 3 Charvel built pickups, single volume 5-way switch. The reason this was cheaper than the Charvels at the time, it's made in Korea. Now in 1989 through 1991, when these guitars were made, guitars weren't made in Korea. One thing I did in the 90s that I thought was kind of cool is I took this whammy bar. I wished it had been black. So what I did was I took black tape and orange electrical tape, and I sort of made it a striped whammy bar. Kind of like Striper, but without all the Jesus. Now let's hear how it sounds clean. The clean in this guitar is pretty unremarkable. It does have 5 positions, 3 pickups. You don't get any of the spank in the in-between positions like you do on a Strat. There's not a lot of difference in tone between, like, say, position 4, 3, and 2. Of course, that's the bridge position. Position 4. Position 3. Position 4. And finally, the neck position. Before Before I forget, it's t-shirt shout out time. My favorite show from the 80s, the young ones, it was on MTV in the mid 80s, but it was on BBC in like 81 or 82. 2 very short seasons. Fantastically brilliant show. I highly recommend you check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere, stolen, so go watch that. Now I've dialed something up that's a little bit more in tune with this traffic cone orange 80s beast from hell. Now I'll put it on position 4 for you so you can sort of hear the difference. Position 3. Now you could hear the difference there. String scrapes, not the best on this. Look, Mom, I'm Tom Morello. Position 4. And lastly is the neck position. Before I forget, want to shout out my good buddy Robert over at Robert's Guitar Dungeon. We're working on a collab that's going to blow your minds. We're going to probably run it on his channel, because if I run it on my channel, no one will see it. Now, if you're not familiar with Robert's channel, I highly suggest you go check it out. I think one of the best compliments I'd seen in his comment section, and it's certainly true. Robert just seems like a dude who lives down the street that knows a lot about guitars, and he's going to tell you about them. He's very, very much the guy in real life that you see on the screen. I highly suggest you go out and check out Robert's Guitar Dungeon. Lastly, but not leastly, we're going to do Mesa Boogie Dual Rectifier. Now the Floyd on this thing, if you can call it that, it's very springy, very jumpy, and I'll show you. don't bother going through the other positions. I'll go straight to the, well, we'll do the middle. Let's do the middle. We'll show you the middle. So this guitar is only probably a good setup away from playing like a mofo. Here's the neck pickup. Not much sustain. You wouldn't want that to happen to you on stage. Ruin the whole thing. So what did we learn today, kids? We learned that for a couple years, the Charvette Guitar Company decided to produce an ultra cheap plywood piece of junk and sell it to unsuspecting, very impoverished guitar players like myself. We also learned that 30 years later, the joke's on them because plywood notwithstanding, this guitar is still in great shape. As you heard, it still plays like a motherfucker. We also learned that besides the cheap plywood that it's made of, its primary weak spot are the pickups. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Whatever you do in the next 7 days, I hope you have fun doing it, but I really, really hope that I'll see you here again next week on GearGasms.